This is exactly 53 carats of Lightning Ridge Seam Opal, Black Opal. Those 53 carats includes this giant lump of sand on the back. I'm going to use that to hold on to while I do the cutting on this, but later we'll have to trim it up. Today's opal comes from Adam Sawicki of ASO Opals. His contact information is at the end of the video and in the description. So we've got this one thin black color bar here. It looks like it's almost 3 millimeters thick. The other side, it's 2, narrows down to about 1 there. We see it over here, and it's very thin here apparently, but there's that little spot of sand. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go around this thing and see the extent of the color bar. It's what we do with any seam opal. We need to see the sides of the specimen. We need to see how far the seam extends all the way around. You have to expose all the edges of the seam or you won't know what to expect when you finally get to the surface. I'm going all the way around this thing to try to expose the edge of this seam. We've exposed very, very narrow seam, but it's got color. We've exposed the edges, so now all we have to do is just grind this down and expose the $20,000 a carat opal underneath. I doubt that it'll be that good, but heck, with opal, you never know. That's our motto. Shit! You broke it. I told you not to mess with this ring, Sheila. Okay, you're on report. No, we're not doing the timeout thing anymore. And no, we're doing black opal today. We're not doing the ring. When you're dealing with a very thin color bar like this, you must use a wheel with fine grit or you risk grinding through the opal layer. This 600 wheel is new. It's a temporary substitute for my 600 centered wheel, which is being repaired. This new wheel cuts like a banshee. I don't know. Maybe banshees cut. What the heck is a banshee? Well, that was some very light grinding to come up with some pretty awesome color. I think we can see that this large area, sort of a broad flash pattern, is the money area on this thing. I think that it goes under these areas of sand, and I think that it stops right about there. Okay, Sheila, maybe we'll do the ring when we finish with the black opal. Go see if you can find an opal to put in there. Grinding opal with a Dremel-like tool is called carving. Who knew? I decided to use the so-called flex shaft so that I can grind specific areas without the risk of losing areas of color that we exposed with the grinder. I'm going to try to take these little pieces of sand off lightly, and I hope that I can flatten the whole surface on the wheel. I'm seeing a lot of blue in here, but when I turn it to the camera, it looks completely green. My view of it is more like this. This is not going to make it, so basically got that and about that. Would you quit bugging me, Sheila? That stone looks good. I'll get to it if I have time. When we cut opals for jewelry, the opal has to be perfect. You don't leave spots in it. You don't leave irregular edges. You just don't. I love the rough opal that I have, and a lot of it I'm not ever going to cut because I like it the way it is. But the stuff that I'm cutting that's designed to be in jewelry, I have to cut it to jewelry standards, which means I have to get these little dots out of it. And sometimes that's really tough. And I also can't leave this big cleft at the edge. I have to round it off in some manner, and maybe I'll lose some of the tip. That's what's got to happen if this is going to be opal for jewelry. This is a beautiful diamond and gold setting that is missing an opal. Where did the opal go? Well, it's right here. So why not just put it in? There you go. Situation solved. It's a nice, pretty ring with a lot of color. No problem, right? Wrong. If we turn it over, we can see that there's a crack in it. Jewelers don't sell jewelry with obvious visible flaws. A reputable jeweler would not sell this. So we need to replace this. Sheila, bring me that opal that you found to go in this ring. Nice job. First time you've done something right in months. It's a little bit similar, but this is pretty much crystal opal. Similar colors to the other one, but it's a better stone. It's a brighter stone. This side is very nice, but the back side has the potential to be stupendous. Look at all that red. With a marker pen, I drew areas that I want to cut with a saw, and I put a rough outline of the stone in order to be sure that I stay away from those edges. This is super great crystal opal, and I would be a fool to give one of these away. Here's what I left. I left an awful lot. I just took 2 tiny pieces off, in addition to the base. I'm grinding down those rough edges. Now the goal is to grind down until there's a narrow rim of opal just outside the oval that I marked on it. If you don't leave a little extra, you may end up with a stone that's too small for the setting, and that's happened to me before. I'm not going to say how many times. Wait a minute, fella. You're grinding over those lines. Well, it's okay because the doming process has begun. To put a dome on a cabochon, you start grinding on the edges and gradually angle the stone so that it takes more and more of the surface. Remember, that flat spot in the middle is going to be the highest point of the dome. Once you have a rough dome, you even it out by spinning the dopstick and covering the entire surface of the stone. Well, it's time for the big reveal, and I'm as excited as a kid with a new hand grenade. Our ring has never looked better. The 5.72 carat stone weighs a carat less than the original, but I'll take bright and colorful over big any day. But wait a minute, I thought bigger was better and... oh, never mind. Well, what about our black opal? Well, here it is. 4.59 carats. It's awesome color over the entire surface, and if you look carefully, there's actually some red-orange in there along with the electric green and blue. This is the nicest black opal that I've ever cut so far. But the night is young, as they say. Why do they say that? People always ask me what things are worth. This opal is worth between $5,000 and $7,000. In the comments, lots of innocent viewers are starting to say that they're getting addicted to opal. So I think it's about time for me to step in. Now, it's not a rant, it's more of a public service announcement, and it's about the 2 most important things in your life: your brain and your opal. Not necessarily in that order. Now, your brain, well, here's what the experts know. When you're born, the brain is tiny, and it doesn't look much like an adult brain, as you can see. But fortunately, the brain grows throughout life, and at puberty, the brain acquires its signature wrinkles. Scientists recently determined that when these wrinkles first appear, they may actually cause erratic behavior and even acne. Now, your brain continues to grow until it finally reaches its prime at age 47. But it doesn't stop there. The brain continues to grow until it fills the cranium. That's what those know-it-all scientists call the place inside your head where your brain lives. Eventually, at age 48, the brain completely fills the cranium and in so doing squeezes out all of the air. And once this head air is used up, the brain can no longer breathe and it dies. Now you may ask, what does brain have to do with my opal? Settle down, I'm about to get to that. Long ago, scientists determined that each part of the brain is responsible for one specific thing. Now, I don't have time to cover them all, but here are the important ones.
There's smell, sight, hearing, touch, balance, breathing, hopping, checkers, thinking, Vegemite, Fortnite, sex, Jay-Z, bowling, hacky sack, influencing, spiders, SpongeBob, Vienna sausage.
So you may ask, where is the opal area? Answer, there is no opal area, believe it or not. I mean, even Vienna sausage has its own area. But there is an area that can open up to opal if it is abused. Scientists call it the hippocampus, but the medical cognoscenti just call it the H-spot. The H-spot controls whatever you're thinking about most at any particular point in time. When you first start looking at opal, nothing much happens. But the second time you look at opal, the H-spot comes alive, and all it takes is a single glance. In short order, opal overtakes the H-spot, and in just a few days, the hippocampus renames itself. the O spot. And this O spot quickly starts running the whole show. It makes you look at all the opal that you can find. Back in the day, this wasn't a problem, except in Australia. But then came the internet, and opalholics soon outnumbered law-abiding citizens. At first, they just stared at pictures of opal, which is bad enough, but then came YouTube, and things got out of control. After watching opal videos a few times, they inexplicably started talking about crazy things like play of color, cabochons, and seams, of all things. They even started calling themselves opalholics. My name is Sheila, and I'm an opalholic. Some particularly desperate opalholics then started subscribing to what is known as a YouTube channel. But don't worry, that's rare, particularly at Pulitzer Opal. The huddled masses can breathe a sigh of relief. Now, as you may know, there are no 12-step programs for opalholics. And as much as I'd like to tell you that scientists have found a cure, I can't lie to you at the moment. But I did hear they're working on a vaccine. Oh, wait, I think that was COVID. We have a 12.2 carat arrowhead to give away today. This is a very nice arrowhead, and I've had a lot of nice comments about it. And the winner is nobody. We're going to have a giveaway every week, starting with the next video, and each giveaway will be open for 2 videos. This week's giveaway is this handheld 200 power digital microscope for you to examine your opals with. It was sent to me by Link Micro, and I told them to send 2 so that I could give 1 away. But you're really going to need a piece of opal to use it with, so I'm giving away this 1.63 carat opal from this video. This is the best quality opal that I've ever given away. I mean, this is real crown jewelry type stuff. To enter, use the word brain in a comment. The winner will be announced in the video after next. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I met Adam Sawicki last year at his booth in Tucson. I was particularly interested in his material because, in my experience, black opal rough is very hard to come by. Here's an important update. Do not use Adam's website because he says it's not been updated in a while, and what you see there, he probably doesn't have anymore. I'll modify this card a little bit. ASO Opals is a big operation, bigger and apparently cheaper than some of the better-known black opal sellers. This is his contact information. He prefers text messages and emails.